Today I'm going to be breaking down AZD tech through a flow state lens. Arash Dibazar, who is one of the top dating transformative specialists in the world concerning mindset, communication, relationships. He has 7+ girlfriends, so we already know about what he's capable of and how he's able to transmute certain situations and use his alchemy to make things happen. And he's a firm believer of the mind. It's all in a state of mind. That's the first law of alchemy, which is the law of mentalism, right? So starting to understand that flow state is, first of all, a mental state, right? It is a mental state. It does transfer into a physical state of beingness and feeling fully embodied and things like this. That's what we call tapped in, right? In AZD tech, when you say tapped in, you're tapping into what? The flow state. That's what it is. So I'm just going to go through my notes right here. A couple of classes ago, AZD said to treat people how you treat them plus the value you hold. The value you hold is your strengths. The strengths that you have optimize the character that you're building. The values that you hold are very important towards the persona or the personality that you're starting to manage. He's also combining yin and yang qualities. If you notice, phase 1 was purely yang. Phase 2 is purely yin. Phase 3, I'm guessing, is a combination of both of those. It's an integrated martial arts concepts, right? What is this integration? It's surrender and discipline together, creating tapped in state flow. The next is the statement of be the best, fuck the rest, okay? Now, what does this do? This creates a growth mindset because already you're pushing away the extraneous, right? It's what Bruce Lee says, add what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is uniquely your own. That is what be the best, fuck the rest creates in my mind, is this ability to go for what you're good at, go for your strengths, be the best at your field, be the peak performer in your niche. And forget about everybody else, forget the doubters, just be polarizing and just keep going towards that path and stay in your lane of your character, of your beast animal, and keep forming and keep moving towards it. Flow state, we have micro flow moments and macro flow moments. You'll notice that AZD stacks both of these. So when he's going out, he'll text different people to generate a state of beingness, getting himself into a talkative state. Then, before his videos, he'll play certain kinds of music to put him into his zone. You'll notice he has these microflow activities. Every single practice or flow state rituals that he has through the AZD process, but also just practices by themselves, like the Om chanting. You have the cold showers that puts you completely in the present moment. You have the beast workout, which is completely getting you into that state as well and tapping you in that physical way. Then he also has these macro flow experiences, but the thing is, you have to create enough micro flows where those macro flows experiences become much more accessible. You can't just have a macro flow experience. You have to have an art form or a practice of creating these micro flow experiences where then you can tap into that macro flow. You get what I'm saying? So that's the thing about this, is really being able to fine tune those deep mindfulness, forced mindfulness, tapped in mindfulness experiences so that you're more likely to have these awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping moments of insane pickup where you're like, whoa, how did he do that? How did he suddenly generate that? How did he create that in only 60 seconds, right? These macro flow experiences start. He's also talking about this idea of intimacy and connecting with so close that you're almost the other person. You merge realities with the other person. Now, this is actually scientifically proven. In the flow state, the self and other start to merge, right? Just like action and awareness merge, the self and other merge. Now, there's actually a gene. It's called the God gene, okay? VMAT2, if you want to look this up. But these people are more likely to have spiritual experiences or ecstatic states of mind, right? Quasi-mystical states. So actually, through the beast process, you'll notice we're doing very ritualistic, religious type of things. We're refining our own God. We're tapping into having our own religion, right? And so what that's doing, that's creating that VMAT2 gene within ourselves. We're actually being able to transmute that. He also has this ability to speak to the reptilian part of the brain or the subconscious mind, right? Every single language that he uses induces this subconscious imagery that comes up in the minds of people. And different words that access different worlds. So what he's doing with this language is bringing people into a trance state or a theta state. Flow state is right between alpha and theta. It's a bridge. All right. And so once you're able to be in the mystical realms and the subconscious realms, as well as the conscious, now you're just tapped in. You get what I'm saying? So what he's doing by inducing this subconscious imagery, he's being the hypnotist in a sense. He's allowing his words to create certain feelings and emotional states and be able to he's able to create that psychic link with people just by his words. One of the flow preconditions is you want to have boundaries and clear goals, right? So in a sense, a river needs a boundary to flow. Otherwise, the river is just going to go everywhere. So in a sense, he has a very clear goal in mind of what he wants to do or what he wants to accomplish, and he's thinking from that goal. So in a sense, he's already there in his mind, you see? So the self-fulfilling prophecy or the placebo or the law of attraction or whatever that thing is, right, that takes over. So he's living as if he's already gotten this woman. He's doing the thing as if he's already gotten the body. He's living the life as if he's already the best of what he does, and he is. So the thing is, even if he's not there yet, he'll speak into the world and create the reality through his words as if he is already, and therefore creating that epic effect that just starts to slowly change the quantum field around him. Some people equate the flow state with mystical experiences and God. This is why I bring up the fact that he has God tattooed on his forehead, but also the fact that, God is this good orderly direction according to Julia Cameron. So it is that flow state. It is that momentum that is moving his energy towards a particular way. Also, from the mentality of using theater, this is how I've been able to transmute it through my life, is being on stage and rapping on stage and, doing little plays on stage growing up and improvisation and things like this, where I was noticing that theater tapped me into the flow state, right? So theater is another way that we get tapped in a sense, where we're working on our characters, we're working on ourselves. We start to create this other consciousness with the consciousness we have already. It's a double consciousness. Therefore, two minds are better than one. And it creates this amplified effect where we just have way more potential to be able to direct that energy towards what we want. Now, creativity is an interesting thing because creativity is a flow trigger by itself. It's old ideas with new insight. Create was the first tattoo that AZD ever got. Okay, now understand that he speaks understanding that this is causing to exist. Life is a constant creation. Constant creation means constant tapping in, because more creativity creates more flow state creates more creativity. And it's this amazing feedback loop that just keeps you moving forward, the wheel in the IMC crest or the coat of arms. Then we have him preaching this practice of TM or transcendental meditation, which is, again, getting you to that quantum space or that 0 point consciousness where you're getting these flow state downloads, right? The VMAT2 is, again, taking place. That God gene is actually changing the epigenetics. Also, he spoke about one instance where he gave himself a time frame, right? So when you give yourself a constraint, a creative constraint and an intention, you can then get into flow a lot more actively. So let's say he was like, okay, so we're gonna leave this venue in 20 minutes. And if I get her, I get her. If I don't, I don't. That, what it's doing to the mind is already locking in a creative constraint. So he has to stay within those boundaries in order to make that tapped in effect happen. So I'm just explaining to you, like, everything he's doing is scientifically proven from the flow state, right? This is what this video is meant to do. And I hope this comes across because this is one of the mentors that I've studied for a while, and I've started to notice the different patterns of how flow state intricately weaves with AZD tech. Also, he has this ability to channel Zapar, which is the demon of the Goetia of seduction, right? So now we start to understand that channeling, they've done studies and tests on channelers, they're tapping into a gamma wave, okay? Now, alpha theta bridge, if you maintain the flow state a lot, you'll get these little gamma jumps. Okay, these little gamma jumps, which gets you these aha moments, peak insights, breakthroughs, epiphanies, like this, right? So if he's able to actually have this connection with Zapar, who knows what is happening there, but in a sense, it's like once he's able to tap into this energy, he's creating gamma waves or these gamma spikes in his mind, where now he's being able to channel these insights or aha moments where he can rapidly change it in the moment. and be able to actually face these objections, these resistances, and be like water and actually move on that path of least resistance, at the same time understanding that he is staying in character. He also says that force is not seductive, right? So force is not seductive, meaning you don't exert any effort to try to get it done. It's an effortless process. Effortlessness is also a process of ecstatic experiences. Effortlessness, selflessness, timelessness, and richness or enrichment of the environment. So notice he has all of these things. His whole space, his whole environment, every single poster hits that subconscious mind. This poster creates this effect in me. This mentor's poster gets me to tap into his energy through the image. This little toy that I have is helping me tap into this character. And it's creating that symbolism, which is again going into the subconscious world. You see, flow is unconscious competence, meaning it's second nature to you. You had mastery for so long that this is just something that you're good at. So clearly he's done it over so many years. He's 44 now, right? So he's done it for so many years that there is this flow state second nature. He's achieved the highest level of learning at this craft. And so all of this natural stuff starts happening, kicking in. Of course, I mentioned beast process. Stoicism is another very masculine, animus-related philosophy that actually gets you to create, again, those boundaries so that flow state can happen. You see, that's all we're doing is we're creating the container so we can get tapped in. Cold shower in the morning. Wim Hof calls this forced mindfulness. The cold water shuts off the thinking mind and gets you to only focus on the cold water sensation hitting your skin. That's number one. Reading. Okay, reading, learning, accumulating wisdom, knowledge. A certain wake-up time. Working out, raw diet, locking ourselves in at a certain time. Sleeping on the floor. All of these things, they add and amplify this effect that's taking place. Then, of course, we're using the power of visualization and imagination. I mean, without these, we can't really tap in as easily. Because again, the reptilian mind thinks in images. This is why sex sells. This is why marketing gets to us. Because when we're in that state of just survival, that's what we need. And again, God is survival in his opinion as well. So in a sense, it's like this process of demonstrating your survival out into the world. How can you help others survive? How can you help yourself survive? This is what is being broadcasted through this system, this channel, which is you. Of course, the character development aspect is important because what is important in transformation is we have these ego death experiences with the cold shower and like working out until we lose a sense of consciousness, but then we regain consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So we're accessing these altered states of mind so that we make the identity a lot more malleable and actually condition ourselves to be the character that we most prefer. And so that's what's happening. We're chipping up the identity and then we're rebuilding it. We're chipping up the identity and then we're rebuilding the identity. And this is the process of transformation that really seems to work because he's been able to transmute this pain into power. And that's what started this whole beast process in the first place, was from a negative experience into a positive experience. I mean, this is cognitive behavior therapy, but it's also alchemy. We can call it whatever we want. We can call it stoicism. The last thing I want to leave with, and I have a lot more to say about this video, so if you want to get on a conversation with me, definitely do that. If you are interested in this topic, is animals are in flow state. You ever see animals on National Geographic or you see these videos of animals, they're always tapped in. They're always tapped in because tapped in is another way of saying nature's code. It's another way of saying these are the laws of nature. This is the Tao. This is the Force in Star Wars. This is the flow state. So understanding this intuition, this knowing without thinking, is this important aspect that you have to accumulate over this process. And if you're on this AZD process, you want to make sure that you're an intuitive being, that you're using all of your resources at your disposal. You're using resourcefulness to make shit happen, right? So this was my perspective, guys. I hope this helped you out today. I hope you got a unique perspective from this. I am a flow state catalyst. I am a flow state specialist, a consultant, so I can help you get tapped in your own unique way. Everybody has their own unique way, their own blueprint, their own flow code to get tapped in. So I'm here to help you find your flow state map. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Be the best, fuck the rest. Let's get it.